Hey everyone, thank you for joining this webinar. We see that we have a couple of more people still joining in. So I request you to give us a minute before we get started. Meanwhile, a quick audio check. I hope you can view the content that is presented on the screen as well as hear my audio without any issues. If you're not experiencing any kind of audio or video issues, I request you to confirm the same by typing yes in the chat panel. I'll wait for a couple of confirmations and then we'll get started. All right, I'm seeing a couple of confirmations. Thank you so much. Let's get this started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, whichever part of the world you're joining us from. My name is Vignesh, and I will be your host for today. Thank you for joining us in this webinar on building a mobile-first test automation strategy. Before we get started, a couple of ground rules. First, we are recording this webinar. We'll share this recording towards the end of the session. Second, we also have a panel of experts with us here. So if you have any queries on anything related to test automation or anything related to the topic that is being presented today, please feel free to shoot it out through the chat panel provided on your Zoom screen. And we'll have a Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. On that note, let's get started with the agenda for today. We'll start this session with a quick introduction to Testsigma, and we'll talk about why mobile-first test automation is essential. Then we'll talk about the problems in the conventional mobile test automation systems that are being leveraged by most organizations today. And finally, we'll talk about how to overcome those problems using a low-code approach. I'll take you through a demo of Testsigma's low-code capabilities and how those low-code capabilities can help you build a mobile-centric test automation strategy without having to write a single line of code. Finally, we'll wrap this session up with a Q&A. So that's the agenda for today. Starting with an introduction to Testsigma. Testsigma is an AI-augmented low-code test automation solution that can help you automate tests up to 5 times faster using simple plain English. Using Testsigma, you can automate tests across multiple platforms, including mobile, web, desktops, APIs, UI, etc. And you can automate a wide different variety of tests, including regression tests, function tests, smoke tests, integration tests, etc. across 3,000 plus mobile device combinations and 1,000 plus browser combinations without having to write a single line of code. In fact, our customers on an average have replaced around 10 different tools in their QA stack using a single unified platform in the form of Testsigma. We are trusted as the preferred test automation solution for multiple organizations across the world, including Samsung, Honeywell, IEEE, etc. So that's a quick summary of what is Testsigma and what are its capabilities. Now, coming to the problem in discussion today, why should we go for mobile-first test automation? Statistics suggest that on an average, over 50% of the average website traffic. Why mobile-first test automation? Statistics suggest that as of September this year, more than 55% of the website traffic to an average web application comes from mobile devices. Even if you ignore the stats, for among all of us who have joined this webinar today, how many of us have used the Amazon app or any other app for that sake to add a particular product to your cart in the mobile application, and we have later completed the transaction on our laptops? And it's not just about the user behavior, even the conversions on an average are likely to increase on mobile applications. Statistics suggest that more than 60% of the users who visit an organization's mobile application are likely to reach out for conversions. As users spread across the world, the mobile usage is set to increase, which means as QAs, it is our responsibility to make sure that our test strategy is mobile-centric. It is not enough if you just test across your mobile devices. You'll have to also automate the key regression test across your mobile devices. But unless and until you have been using a manual test automation strategy or a manual testing strategy, mobile test automation is not easy. Most organizations rely on conventional script-based frameworks to automate their mobile apps. Now, as I already mentioned, if you are been previously using manual testing, this is an upgrade. The frameworks are an upgrade, but they come with a lot of disadvantages. First of all, mobile apps come across different platforms. You have your Android apps, you have your mobile apps built on iOS, then you have your Flutter-based apps. You could either choose to build them natively or you could build them across hybrid. And having script-based frameworks for different platform of mobile apps could be a pain in itself. Second, maintaining these scripts could be a heavy overhead if especially you're looking to scale. And these scripts also take a lot of time to set up, which means getting started on your mobile-centric test automation itself is a difficult process if you're relying on conventional script-based frameworks. Finally, mobile test automation is never a solo game. Often, if you are automating your mobile test, chances are you're also automating your other platform tests, including your desktops, including your APIs, etc. Which means if you're doing an end-to-end test automation strategy, having complex code-based mobile automation frameworks could be a very huge overhead that could be very difficult to maintain, and it's time consuming as well. If you make any changes to any of your modules, going back to these scripts and trying to change them could be a very huge headache, which is where Testsigma's capability come in. Testsigma helps you automate your mobile tests without having to write a single line of code. Using Testsigma, all that you will have to do is you'll have to log into your Testsigma application, upload your file, and you upload your mobile app, and you will have to start recording your tests. So I'll take you through a quick demo of how this is going to work. Once you go into your Testsigma dashboard, you could go to your upload section and you could upload your mobile app. And once you're done uploading your mobile applications, all that you'll have to do is, if you have any existing test data, if you want to perform data-driven testing, you can add your data-driven test data details here using a custom test data profile. You could even upload your test data, and then you'll have to go to create test, click on create test, click on record, select the APK file that you have uploaded, and then click on record. Now Testsigma will load an emulator which will help you record your tests across your mobile apps without having to write a single line of code. Alright, the emulator is loaded. So all that I'll have to do is now go to the elements which I want to record. For example, this is an sample APK file in which I'm trying to test the login functionality. I'll have to select the element, click on the function, navigation function, and it gets recorded here. It's not just about tapping, you also have a swipe. You could also record your tapping based on coordinates. There are a lot of basic functions that are automated by Testsigma. You'll just have to select and you'll have to perform the operation. So I would enter my email ID here, for example. And Testsigma will automatically identify the element. It will even show you the XPath here. And if I, let's say I'm going to enter the password here. I'll click on enter data. Screen pops up. Let's say I can give a sample element here. Testsigma will automatically identify the element. And I click on continue. Then I can type my assertion here. Current page displays slides. Create step. Now, if I want to make this data driven, all that I'll have to do is I'll have to stop recording select this test step, go to settings, just click on the element first, go to parameter, and associate it with one of the test data profiles that we have created previously. So this was a test data profile that I had already created. I could make this data driven, and I could give the start and the end values. Now, if I can click on this parameter, and since I have associated the test data profile, I can do this, and automatically the password also be entered. Now, all the test data that I have mentioned in this particular login credentials would be used to test my test case here. So that's how easy it is. You don't have to write a single line of code, and you can run this test case across multiple applications. So first, you could create all the test cases that you need. I've already created a bunch of test cases here. Then you could group all those test cases into required test suites. So test suite is a collection of test cases. So you could create a new test suite, and you could just add the specific test cases that you want out of here. Once you have added the test suites, you can combine multiple test suites into a single test plan. And you just basically give it a name, let's say sample test plan, and you can add your test suites that you have previously done. You can add it to the plan, and you can also add the devices across which you would want to test. You can either use your local devices, or you could use the devices from Testsigma's lab, which allows you to test across over 3,000 plus mobile device combinations. So let me name this sample test lab, and I could select the required APK, and I could also choose to run my tests in parallel. And if I want advanced capabilities, for which I'll come back to in a minute, I could enable them also. I can create a profile. I could add multiple missions on this. Let's say I want to run it across Google Pixel. I could select that as well. I could create Google Pixel profile. I can save this. I can, if I want to get live updates through my email, I can also enable this send notification option, which will notify me if the test case has passed or failed or under specific circumstances. And I can click on create test plan. Now, once your test plans are created, all your test plans will be displayed here, and you can schedule these test plans, or you could also run them on a ad hoc basis. So if you click on run, Testsigma will automatically start the execution of that particular test plan. So, and you can view the live results of your test plan execution here. So I've already run this particular test plan previously. So I'm going to show you the status. If you look at the run results section here, you could see the test plan, all the test cases inside the test plan. You could see the execution at a test suite level and also at a test mission level. And you can also view the detailed video logs. You come to screenshots, it comes with videos and logs that will help you analyze these test cases further. And let's say there were some changes to your modules. If you had to use framework-based, mobile test automation frameworks that are code-based, you'll have to go back to the code and make changes manually. But Testsigma has a function called auto healing. You'll have to go to settings, go to preferences, and you'll just have to enable auto healing. And Testsigma will, if a test case fails, it will automatically look for those changed components and update them in your test automatically, saving you tons of time on maintenance. Testsigma also has an AI-driven suggestion engine, which will provide you suggestions in case your test fails. So that's the basics of building a mobile-centric test automation with Testsigma. But no, as I said, your mobile test automation is never a solo effort. It is often a part of your larger end-to-end test automation strategy, which is where in Testsigma, what you can do is whenever you create a new project, you could allow multiple applications and you can add applications of different types into a single project. So you could add a web application here, then you could add Android, you could add iOS. Everything could be added into a single project. So if you go to your particular project, it will show you the list of applications underneath that, which means your end-to-end test automation for a particular project or a particular application could be done in a single console. One additional thing that I wanted to show you is that Testsigma also helps you perform advanced mobile automation capabilities. This includes using the camera to capture screenshots or capture images, perform image-based actions, do geolocation testing. For example, let's say I have a application which requires me to capture a QR code and navigate based on the details in the QR code. All that I could do is I'll have to go to, you don't have to write complex frameworks for this. Go to create test case. I already uploaded my app under the upload section. So I'm going to click on record. And this is my application that works based on QR code. And you have an option to allow image injection. You enable that. And you could also see desired network logs if you would want to. And you could click on record. Now Testsigma will assign an emulator for this. So I want to, let's say I want my application to load a test a specific URL navigation based on the QR code that is being uploaded. I could select this, I could click on tab. So all your actions are automated using simple buttons. And let's say I want to use file application. I click on use existing element. Then I can say scan image and I can upload the particular image. So I have a list of QR codes. Say I want to upload. I've already uploaded my QR code here, so I'll use that for this example. Click on create step. And then let's say verify current page displays Testsigma. On create step, stop recording. And if I run this, I select the required APK, I allow image injection. And if I click on run, Testsigma can help you. This is an example to show you how very easily you can automate a complex operation like image injection using just a couple of lines of recorded steps. So Testsigma will automatically run this. It will show you the results in a minute. You could see the active steps being recorded here, and you could see how it's done. And if you also want to test your mobile apps on the visual differences, you could do that as well. All that you will have to do is you'll have to go to a particular step, click on settings, and enable visual testing, with which you can test your mobile apps for visual differences also without having to write a single line of code. And the capabilities of Testsigma's mobile automation does not end here. It also has over 30 plus integrations. If I go to my settings, I'll be able to see the integrations. So based on the status of your test execution, if you would want to forward your, you could either do some bug reporting, or if you want to integrate Testsigma into a CI/CD pipeline, all of that can be done right out of the box. So that overall is how you can use Testsigma to create a mobile-centric test automation strategy without writing a single line of code. If you want further a much more detailed demo, please let us know through the chat panel or answer to the poll that we have created right now. and we'll be happy to reach out to you. So that's it for the presentation part. I would now like to open this forum to the Q&A. Thank you.